In the statement when the team was announced, he describes Tom Farrell as kind of Roy of the Rovers' rise to get his international debut. Could you just elaborate, I suppose, on what you've seen from him?
Yeah, I announced it to the squad yesterday, and it was fantastic for me to do so, to stand him up in front of his peers and tell them the story. Actually, that 6 years ago now, Tom, I was obviously assistant coach under Giolda, and we brought him in for training camp, and he never got selected. And 6 years later, here we are. You know, he's at the ripe old age of 32, but playing his best rugby, and 100% deserves his shot. Not just for the form that he's shown over the last couple of seasons, but also how he's applied himself when he's come into camp. So that's been very impressive. But the word resilience doesn't probably do it justice. That he's kept on fighting, and he gets to make his dream come true, which is play for Ireland in his debut on Saturday.
8 changes in total. Have you been conveying to the team that this isn't a one-off opportunity to earn a cap, like that players who go well this weekend can be rewarded further against Australia and South Africa?
Well, there's obviously everything gets thrown into the pot, doesn't it? In regards to selection, when you're coming up with 4 big games and you throw a bit of travel in there, and at the stage of the season that is at, so everything gets thrown into the pot. But I suppose the lads that don't get a chance to play this weekend, they're the ones that's brimming to get back, because coming back to Dublin on the back of a loss isn't nice. You always want to get back on the horse, but at the same time, the lads that get to go onto the field this weekend, they're the ones that have the chance to prove to the rest of them that they mean business. So yeah, I suppose everything comes into play.
And just one other question for me. Can I ask about Ryan Baird? Someone who finished the kind of back end of last season very, very strong, and there's obviously a bit of an opening at 6 with Peter O'Mahony retired over the summer. How impressed have you been with the way he finished out last season? And he seems to have really stepped up as a...
Yeah, he seems to have really matured, not just within his game, but within himself. He's put on quite a bit of weight, and obviously he's made that decision and feels good with that. I think he was weighing in about 120 kgs or whatever, so there's a real plan, a real determination that's gone into his preparation to start the season off well, and he's certainly done that. And you know, he's young enough, isn't he, as far as international caps are concerned, so he gets to go again this weekend.
Peter?
Andy, given that Tom Farrell didn't make the summer tour, has he done something since then to change your mind?
No, I mean, obviously the summer tour, you're obviously looking at young players that you can expose to that type of level and that type of games. He's always someone that we've seen of being a top quality centre. I suppose he's been pretty unfortunate in the sense that there's always been 4 centres who are pretty good that's been keeping him out there, but his form has always been at the forefront of our mind and how he started the season. And again, you know, we had a contact type session on Saturday because the lack of contact that we've probably had at this stage of the season in Chicago there, and that's when he's at his best. He's strong. He's a lot stronger than what you think. He breaks the line. He runs good lines, etc. And it's those type of sessions where you see his class come through. So he's done very well. I would say the difference in experience counts a lot, because how he's come in this time round and hit the ground running has been completely different to how he would have handled it 6 years ago. It would have been a little bit daunting. I would have thought his confidence has come on because of the form, and he thoroughly deserves his chance.
Thanks. Gavin?
And it's not quite Roy of the Rovers, but Jacob Stockdale's return to form. How big a business is that?
Not quite similar to Tom, I know that, but yeah, it is similar in some ways. Because there is a determined look on Jacob's attitude attitude, his face, his being in and around the group. He seems to have matured again tremendously. Seems to have had a word with himself. I think he's stripped things back and got down to what he's good at. He's been a handful. He's been a handful, and he's shown his point of difference, and that's beating people and scoring tries. So I'm sure that he's been waiting for this chance to try and prove a point, and he gets that on Saturday.
Is Nick Timoney a great example of what you can do if you're patient and work hard, keep your head down?
Well, you don't want people just to be patient just for being patient's sake. You wanna make sure that you're improving by those types of experience, disappointments, or of making sure that you start a season and show people that you're determined to go on better. That's just about being involved in a squad. He's been involved with us for quite some time now, and not quite got the chance, but he started the season really well again, and he's a claim there to put his best foot forward for a spot in the squad going forward.
Just last question in the online section.
Hi.
Obviously, Stuart McCluskey not being risked after picking up that knock last weekend. What's the latest of his condition?
Yeah, he's back into rehabilitation running. It's not as bad or severe as as what would be first thought of. We presume or hope that he's going to be fit for selection next week, but obviously he's got to get through a bit of more rehab in the coming days.
Was there anyone else not available?
Yes, Gary Ringrose had a slight feel of a tight hamstring, so to risk him this week wouldn't be a good option for us going forward. So he pulled out of training precautionally yesterday, and Thomas Ahern was in the reckoning there to have a crack at playing for Ireland as well, but unfortunately on Tuesday he got a bang on the head, and he's going through the HIA protocols.
Very last question.
Hi, Andy Farrell, please. Did you have any temptations to try anyone else at fullback and get some minutes in, because there's no real out-and-out specialist per se in the squad at the minute? Well,
I think if we're trying to give somebody minutes, then James is the person that had the game last week, and I suppose that's what goes into the thought process of who needs more minutes and at this type of level. And James hasn't played much minutes at all, but I thought he was good last week, so he gets to go again.